Hello everyone, it's me Real Bevel here, and I always want to talk about games that just get little love. Maybe it's because of its lack of advertising or just didn't hit with the audience right, but I want to give these games at least a little bit more attention, and the first game I decided to go with was Suikoden 5. And Suikoden 5 is a game I sort of got on a whim because I always had an interest for the series when the third one came out, but ever since the fourth and Tactics got a lot of hate, I just decided to just ignore it until I heard how good the fifth one was and how it redeemed the series. So I decided to pick it up since it was the latest one, and after a while, I understood why people love this series so much. But before I talk about why I love this game, I'll tell you the 3 problems that made me even give up the game on the beginning. The first problem is a very slow beginning. While there's 40 to 50 hours with the quality game time you will have with the game, expect the first 8 to 10 hours to be rather boring. And that's a really big disappointment considering how good it gets right after that. Because in the beginning you do spend a lot of pointless running around, and you also have a lot of story segments, which really does wear down on you, and was the biggest reason why I gave up playing on the game. The second biggest problem is the random battles, because let's face it, random battles just plain suck. And the developers of Suikoden 5 seem to have a sick obsession with random battles, since they'll come up a lot more often than you think it will. And get ready to press the retreat button often, since it's going to be real annoying to fight that wolf for the 15th time in the Deep Twilight Forest. And the Deep Twilight Forest is easily one of the worst dungeons I've ever experienced in my life. Once you're in that dungeon, trust me, the only thing you'll be thinking is this.
What the fuck can it be over the square root of 90? This is fucking impossible!
Satan, calm down!
What the fuck is going on here? What the...
The third biggest problem is maze-like dungeons, and usually maze-like dungeons aren't that bad by themselves, but with the ridiculous random encounter rate, you'll experience JRPG hell. And while I did get most of them rather nicely, some of them really got on my nerves and really annoyed me. And that's one problem you really should take in mind when playing this. Now I know this game sounds like it's gonna absolutely suck, but in reality, this game has just way too many good things that really put it above its problems. And to be honest, if you're patient and can get through with some of these problems, you'll find a masterpiece of a game in here. The reason I love this game so much is because it represents war and all the drama that comes with it. So like greed, power, betrayal, and political struggle. And the story of Suikoden 5 starts you off as the prince of the Queendom of Falena. Yes, Queendom. So this is a land ruled by women. And you might be thinking like, what happens if like the queen is on her like period or something like that?
One of the 3 rooms, the very symbols of the Falenan royal family. Such lawlessness, such treachery, such savage behavior. How could I possibly forgive them? And so I, Arshtot, the Queen of Falena, brought down my judgment and vengeance upon them by the will of Providence. With the power of this, the Sun Rune!
Okay, so maybe she's not having her period, but she is being manipulated by the Sun Rune, which is an artifact that gives her the power of the sun, as you might assume. And not only that, there's a competition being held called the Sacred Games, where people battle in an arena for the princess's or your sister's hand in marriage. And to make things even more complicated, most of the contestants are greedy nobles who just want to win to gain more power in the country and spread more of their influence. But things get interesting when Ghazal Godwin, a noble who won the game by cheating, pretty much turned the kingdom upside down, pretty much kept your sister in hostage, and made you seem like a traitor of the country. And it's your job to take your country back from whatever he took away from you. While I don't want to spoil any more of the game's story, I'll just tell you that you'll definitely be more involved in the story, and it gets even more interesting as the game goes on. Graphically, the game looks alright. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. But it does have a great Chinese-inspired art style, along with the usual like anime art style you'd expect from a Japanese game. The sound design in this game though is a lot better than the graphics in my opinion, since I thought the soundtrack was great and varied, and I also thought the voice acting was good for what it was, since there were a lot of characters that had spoken dialogue in the game. While there's a lot of text in the game, which can drag on a bit, I thought the voice acting was still good while it lasted, and also there were some bad voices, but overall it was pretty good. Gameplay wise, there are 3 combat systems, which really makes it stand out from other RPGs that came on the PS2 era, and all 3 of them in my opinion were really fun. The first being your standard turn-based battles.
Oh my god!
I know it seems like turn-based battles are like the word terrorist, where that if it's associated with anything, people will stay away from you as far as possible. And while the battles aren't very unique, there are a few cool things like a battle party of 6 and cooperative attacks. But don't worry, there are 2 more combat systems which really make it seem unique from other RPGs. The second battle system is War Battles, which help break the pace well in the story and plays somewhat like a real-time strategy game with rock, paper, scissors type element to it. And while some people didn't enjoy them, I enjoyed them a lot, and it made the game feel a lot more epic than it would be if it was just turn-based battles. The last battle system are the duels, and in my opinion they're the most fun part of the game, yet sadly they're the ones that happen the least. You pretty much have to do one-on-one battles between certain characters, and they'll tell you what attack they're going to do, and you're supposed to predict that and use the right command to go against them. So it's pretty much like a rock, paper, scissors type game to it, and I found it really enjoyable. And while it wasn't fast-paced, it's definitely a lot more fast-paced than you would on any standard turn-based battle system. There are also a lot of things to do outside of combat, one of them being the 108 Stars of Destiny. And if you're wondering what the 108 Stars of Destiny are, they're pretty much 108 people that you can recruit to your castle. And they're a really important part of the story since you will get the best ending in the game if you collect all 108 Stars of Destiny. And collecting all 108 Stars of Destiny is no easy feat. And they're really complex to get for some of these characters, and you really need a guide. I definitely recommend you look at GameFAQs and get a guide on Suikoden 5's 108 Stars of Destiny, since, trust me, if you really want that best ending, you definitely have to look at that guide. If not, it'll be nearly impossible to get them all by yourself. There are also a lot of little things to do, like mini games such as fishing or playing like cards. And there's also the fact that you could just decorate your castle and name your own castle. And I called my castle the... And lastly, in terms of replayability, there's a lot of it, since I didn't get all 108 stars when I played the game for the first time. And it really makes me want to go over this game again in order to just get them all. And not only that, there are 11 different endings to the game. So someone who's really a completionist will get a lot of hours with this game. You might be thinking, with all the good things about the game, why didn't it sell as well as it should? And I think it was because of its timing. It came when the fourth one got a lot of hate. It also came around the time where the PlayStation 3 and Wii were coming out, and there was a lot of hype for it since it came out in 2006. Not only that, Final Fantasy 12 was coming out, which was going to overshadow the game completely. And it kind of sucks that the game gets to be left in the dust, because, in my opinion, I do like Suikoden 5 more than Final Fantasy 12. And if you want this game, I suggest you get it as soon as possible, because prices in Amazon are getting really expensive. Like, used copies are being sold for $50 and up. I'm lucky I got my copy for $25, and if you find a copy at a reasonable price, I suggest you get it, since through its problems of slow beginnings and random encounters, in the end, this game is a gem that must be played by anyone who enjoys a good RPG. Thank you guys for watching this video so much. It really means a lot to me. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And please tell me what I should do to improve this video, since this is my first scripted review. And as always, guys, I'm Rio Bebo, and peace out.